Our next award honors our lifetime volunteers. This award goes to those who have shown consistent and constant deep commitment in making a difference at the University of Florida. Fittingly, the presenter is a Gator great herself, the current chair of the University of Florida Foundation Executive Board and a winner of the 2015 Academy of Golden Gators inductee, ladies and gentlemen, Gayle King.
All right, good evening. All right, has this not been a beautiful evening already? Let's do this. Let's give Raul and the Grateful Gatsbys another round of applause. So I'm Gayle King, and it is always my pleasure to be in the company of Gators. There's no place like a room full of Gators. But I have the pleasure, and it's a personal privilege, to present the Academy of Golden Gators Lifetime Volunteer Award to a Gator great. Think about that, a lifetime volunteer. Is there any more honorable way to spend your life than in the service of others and living a life that people talk about? And that's tonight's honoree. And true to the spirit of this award, this year's honoree has made volunteerism central in his life. But before we speak about that, I want everyone to take a trip back in time with me. For some people here, this will be a trip down memory lane, but for many of us, it will speak to an incredible journey, a journey of creativity, persistency, adaptability, and success. It was the summer of '72, I understand. Keith Koenig is our winner tonight, was working with his brother Kevin selling waterbeds in South Florida. When he returned to Gainesville at the end of that summer, he makes the trip in a U-Haul, which he parks on 13th Street in front of a friend's record store. He made a handmade sign, opens the U-Haul, and sells what's inside, waterbeds and beanbag chairs. So I know many of you understand that. So think about that, waterbeds and beanbag chairs sold outside of a record store. An interesting beginning. What grows from that is something worth bragging about, a company that belongs to Florida called City Furniture. Our honoree, Keith Koenig's life is one of hard work, strong relationships, and strong values, has been impactful in so many ways, and has improved the lives of many. At the University of Florida, he has served all across campus, to include the University of Florida's National Board, and on the Business College Advisory Council, on the Broward County Regional Council, the Business College Campaign Steering Committee, its MBA Advisory Board, and on and on. He also established the City Furniture Professorship in Business as well, and he has endowment to support the MBA Student Information Center. Knowing Keith as we do, how fitting it is that City Furniture lists as its purpose to enrich the lives and make the world a better place. It perfectly captures the spirit of Keith himself, who embodies leadership, who embodies generosity and service to others. So Keith, we have a special surprise for you.
So I've known Keith for over 35 years. First met him when he was in the waterbed business. I think he was wearing shoes when I met him, but I'm not sure. Keith and I have kind of grown up together. He's a person who's evolved into that I would describe as the true volunteer Gator leader.
If I had to point to two people that I'm so proud of that grew out of the It's Performance That Counts campaign to be significant leaders at the University of Florida volunteer level, it would be Keith and Scott. Keith Koenig is a good friend, and he came involved in the Performance That Counts, and he has grown to be a significant contributor to the University of Florida.
Florida Tomorrow is the belief that investments made by this generation of Gators will produce immense results for many generations to follow.
Well, I've known Keith since I had started my relationship with the University of Florida, in his role with the foundation, in his role in the Presidential Search Committee. And each time I engage with him, I just feel more inspired about the University of Florida, because he is so optimistic, so encouraging in his very nature, that he inspires you to want to even work harder on behalf of the University of Florida.
I would describe Keith as a person who really cares about what he's doing. He only commits to do things that he's going to be involved with. And Keith is a person who I think you can always count on. And he's done a whole number of things for the university.
I think of Keith literally every day because all of the furniture in the Dasburg house was donated by Keith with city furniture. So literally the bed I sleep on, the dining room where we have our meals, all the furniture in the Dasburg house was donated by Keith. And that, just as an example of his engagement with the University of Florida, he is so generous of his time and of his wisdom and his perspective. He is an incredible Gator.
He's always willing to do what he thinks helps us the most, and he's always said that. And so if we need Keith, he's doing it because he feels that we feel that that's important.
He's just one of those inspirational leaders that we can point to as an example for our current students. This person throughout his life has not only supported the University of Florida, but has been a model for others, a model of generosity, a model of commitment to the community. That example of someone that we want our students to follow and to be like.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please stand and join me in acknowledging one of the University of Florida's Gator greats, the Academy of Golden Gators, lifetime volunteer, Keith Koenig. All right, you're going to say a few words?
You're very sweet. Please sit. Hey, all right. So you now know your friend here is a waterbed salesman. That's what I told my beautiful wife, Kelly. I said, oh, you're getting married to a waterbed salesman. How many hands? Raise your hand if you had a waterbed. Look around. How many people got a waterbed? All right, so we're bringing them back. True story. I won't get into it. I'll be very brief. I want to be able to say thank you, President Fox, Tom, Gail, all my dear friends here. It's been an honor to be a part of the University of Florida for so many years. I'll just share a couple of quick points. 1969, I'm 17 years old. I walk onto the University of Florida as a freshman. Had never set foot on the campus. You know the way kids, well, you're going to take your girls around to probably see 40 schools, and then they'll end up at the University of Florida. That's the way it works. Just get used to it. So I had never set foot out of Broward County from 1961 to 1969 when I got there. But I set foot on the campus, and it was transformational. A few days later, very first football game, University of Florida against the University of Houston. Houston was preseason ranked number 1. And guess who did the polls? You know the way it's the USA Today and all these other AP polls? Back then, does anybody want to remember what was the most important poll? Playboy magazine. We were number 1 ranked for a party school, but number 1 ranked was University of Houston. Make a long story short, thank God that's not the case anymore. We have better polls. But Houston came in big, and the big favorite, third play from scrimmage, maybe some old guys will remember this, John Reeves to Carlos Alvarez, 60 yards, touchdown, I was hooked. Just like you, I loved my classes, I loved my teachers, I loved my professors, I loved the experiences I had, and it made a lifelong bond with the University of Florida. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to participate and give back in some way to be able to help the students of the future. Everybody's got to stand on the next generation, right? Well, I'll finish this up with just the tie together. The LSU game just this past year, me and my grandson, Casey, who's 9. Scott, where are you? Keep an eye out, Casey Cronin. You're going to want him. If you don't want him on the team, I tell you, you're going to want him on the bench. He's the smartest 9-year-old on the planet in terms of acumen, in terms of sports. We watched the LSU game together. That was a moment, and that was a game I'll never forget because I got to share it with my grandson. So 1969, I walked on as a freshman. 2019, I'm there with my, actually 2018, I'm there with my grandson. It couldn't have been any better. It couldn't happen anyplace else. I'm proud to be a Gator. Go Gators.
There's a note left up here from Keith. It says, Tom, please let everyone know that I just opened a new store in Orlando, and if they're looking for a couch, a chair, or an end table, tell them to call me. Or a new waterbed. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Koenig. Gail, thank you very much. Congratulations, Keith.